What's up everybody? So today I'm going to do a video on how to sharpen a knife using not a whetstone but a diamond stone. You know, cooking is one of my biggest passions. So I've been spending a lot of time in a commercial kitchen and learning how the restaurants work and just how everything works in there in the back end, and learning new tricks and tips. And then I actually was running through my knives and dulling them really quickly. So one of the chefs there showed me how to properly do it. And for the last few months I've actually been honing that skill. I went out and bought a Sharpen set of ceramic whetstones, and they're pretty good, but then I came across a diamond stone, which I find actually works really, really well, and it lasts way longer, and it's a much cleaner process and works a lot quicker. It's actually a Sharpal set here, or Sharpal, I don't know really how you pronounce it, but I'll leave a link in the description for this one. But what I'm going to do is I went out and bought a cheap knife from a thrift store. It's dull, it's broken, cheap handle, but we'll see if we can bring this thing back to life using this stone. I'll show you guys how to properly sharpen a knife. So hopefully you can hone this skill and find some use for it. Here is the cheap thrift store knife. This is my Sharpal diamond stone. It's got one side which is a grit of 325 and the other side's extra fine at 1200. This will do a really, really good job for honestly most people, especially just kitchen use. If you want an ultra sharp edge like a razor blade, you have to use a strop, but honestly this works pretty well just as is out of the box. Let's go ahead and make a few passes. The ideal edge or angle for a kitchen knife is 20 degrees. This kit does come with an angle thing, like a little angle triangle to help you get that, but I find if you use half your finger as a guide, so if, let's say this way, just keep it like that, half of your finger width, and make your finger touch the stone. It actually is a pretty good guide getting the right angle. Now, the other thing you got to keep in mind here is you want to go up and across the whole blade, and then when you come back on the other side, you want to go down and do the same motion like this. You don't want to flick your wrist, you want to make sure your wrist is locked and kind of move your arms with it. Don't just kind of like have any movement. You want to make sure that you're rigid and you're straight through across. You can push it forward and push it back. Some people like to only do one way. Do whatever works best for you, especially if you're just starting out. I'm not going to be as picky since this is just a cheap knife we're going to try to bring back to life. So let's go ahead and start going here. What I like about this stone too, you can feel the grit and you can feel the stone working. A lot of the wet stones, it's really hard to gauge how much pressure or how much is taking off here. And ideally you want to create a burr on this, and you'll start seeing a burr form, which is basically the metal that you're taking off will start rolling over on the other edge. Close up on this. So you can kind of see it's a nice clean edge now. And then this is the side I haven't done. You can tell it's pretty bad. So you can kind of see that burr forming there. You see a little bit of rollover on the very edge of the blade. Okay. So I think this will need a few more passes still. That looks pretty good. Now we're going to go the other way. So the idea with sharpening, if your knife is dull, it'll have a U-shaped bevel. And when you're sharpening it, you want it to have a nice pointy V. That's the idea of sharpening here. So already this is feeling pretty sharp. I'm just going to keep going, do a few more. I'm going to take the burr off only because it'll feel sharp with the burr, but really you want to take it off so that you can have a nice clean edge. So when you're doing the fine grit sanding, to just get the burr off, you only do a couple of passes. Very light passes just to get it off. Check it. Fine tune it a little bit more. Okay. So now let's do the paper test and see where we're at. Standard piece of paper, pretty sharp. So that's not bad for a couple minutes of quick sharpening. You can see the burr has been removed now. You got a nice clean edge. So if you look closely, there's still some chips and stuff in the blade there. But I mean, it's kind of expected for a thrift store knife. So I hope that video was educational and you learned a little bit there. There's really not much to doing this. It's not rocket science. And this was a quick demonstration to just show you how easily you can bring a cheap, dull knife back to life. And this will work on a really cheap $5 knife or a very expensive custom $1,000 knife. It really doesn't matter. The technique is what matters and the stones you are using. Most knives, especially German knives or stainless steel knives, this will be perfect and it's all you really need. It's about $100 and this is the biggest one they offer. I believe it's 8x3. Like I said, the kit, if you're new, the kit comes with this little triangle piece, which gives you all the different angles to set this on when you're on your stone here, so you know exactly what angle you need. Sharpen to. You can see there's like 25, 20, 17, and 14. For most kitchen knives, you want to land in the 20 or 17 degree range. You can go sharper for 14 for like a hunting knife, for example, or more utility like an axe, you'll want maybe 25, something like that. But you can try and experiment with which one you like best. But also what's good about this kit, it comes with this box, which you can put the stone on and it has a grippy bottom so it doesn't go anywhere. So yeah, hopefully that's educational and you guys learned something.